Hi, can you hear me? That's the big question. I'm waiting for a comment. Okay, so can you hear me with your volume up? Or is this mic working? Hello? Yay or nay? Yay or nay? Oh, I have an echo. Okay. I'm hoping that it's this mic. All right, so somebody has to tell me whether you hear me louder over here or whether you hear me louder over here. Okay, and then we'll get going on just a little bit that I wanted to share with you. So am I louder off screen or am I louder right here? About the same. Okay. All right. Well, that's honest. Okay. Well, I'm not sure which one is working, but we'll give it a try. Okay. I just wanted to go over some of what happened on Shabbat since our sound wasn't working on Shabbat when we did our live. And so there were a couple things that we went over, but one was kind of interesting that not too many people had heard a lot about, and that was the difference between your flesh, your soul, and your spirit. So let's have a little chat on that. So basically, when you read in scripture, flesh or body, you're talking about this, your flesh, the thing that houses you. So that would be your emotions. That would be what you see with your eyes, what you hear with your ears, what you can touch, what you can taste, what you can feel, feelings as in touch feelings, not emotional feelings. So that would be your flesh or your body. Then when we talk, and that's where you get like erotic kind of love. If it feels good, do it. Where you let your flesh rule without thought, without too much emotion. It's kind of wild flesh, your body. Okay. So, but your flesh is also the part that houses your soul. So, what is your soul? Your soul is your thoughts, your emotions. Okay. So, what you think about things, your intellect, what you feel about things, and your understanding, your perspective, those would all be the realm of your soul. And, King David said, "Oh, my soul, magnify." So our souls can, in our intellect and our emotion, worship God. Our souls, in our intellect, our knowledge, our understanding, our emotions, can understand and acknowledge and verbally accept God. Okay? But there's a deeper area. And so that's where I want to kind of cut a little bit of difference. Sometimes in scripture, the word soul and spirit is intermingled. Okay? You have to use discernment as to how that word is being used. Okay? Because they kind of cross, they all kind of cross each other. Think of it like the temple. Okay? In the temple, there was the outer court. Anybody could go there. Okay? Your flesh, that's the outer court. The inside was for those who were clean, or the Jewish people. There was a court of the Gentiles, and Gentiles couldn't go into where the Jews could go. So that would be your soul, your inner person. Okay? But then there was the Holy of Holies. And very few, actually only one, could enter into the Holy of Holies until Yeshua came and opened that door for us. But that's our spirit. Okay? Your spirit is not your intellect. Your spirit is not understanding. Your spirit is not knowledge. Your spirit is not where you reason things out. That's your soul. Your spirit is a different creature altogether. So the soul is what determines what area where how you sway. Your intellect decides. You make a choice. You make a choice to forgive. You make a choice to accept God. You make a choice to acknowledge God. You make a choice to, I'm going to follow you. Here I am. That's in your soulish realm, okay? But your soul has to give way to the spirit. Your soul is where you learn truth and knowledge. So when you read scripture, when you read this beautiful book right here, then that's in your soul realm, in your knowledge. That's where you gain truth. But you rely on the spirit to interpret that truth. You rely on the spirit to lead you. So when you have your quiet time, you need to be led by the spirit. And so sometimes that means you just sit quiet. So when you're reading scripture, he's talking to you and you're gaining knowledge. But when you're quiet, when you're just there in his presence, then your spirit can hear him. And that's where we commune with God, is in our spirit. And we want to be led by our spirit, not our intellect, not our feelings, not our emotions, not our flesh for sure. And there's a balancing act in there. And it's not really something that I can tell you, if you have to experience the spirit. It's something that you have to taste and see. It's something that you have to step into to understand what spirit is, because the intellect cannot understand it. Just like you can't comprehend the vastness of God. Can't. It's impossible. So I'm hoping that helps a little bit. Anyone that's on, there's a couple of you on. Is there something I missed on Shabbat that stood out to you on this subject that I didn't just now hit on? If so, put that in the comments. Okay, let me grab my comments down here so I can read them. No? Okay. All right. So we want to worship God in spirit and in truth. It's very, very, very important. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very, very important to have knowledge. It's very, very, very important to know this word. It's very, very important to read this. Read it every day, to understand who he is, to understand who the word, to walk his ways, to understand what he's asking of you. It's really important. This is where we get truth. Okay? But he says to worship him in spirit and in truth. So this is our truth. But we need to learn to listen to the Spirit and walk in the Spirit. And you can do that by having daily time. This is where you get your knowledge. Daily you need to read and you need to study. But you also need to have that quiet time, or what we call prayer time. Because that's where the Spirit is fed. That's where you commune with God. Okay? I hope that helps a little bit. It's not exactly everything that we went through on Shabbat. But there is a difference between flesh, body, soul, and spirit. Your soul is eternal, so is the spirit. So it's important to know that our soul has to submit to the spirit, okay? And the spirit will never ask you to do something contrary to God's will and his word. So, but we've got to learn to trust in his spirit. There's a scripture that says, heaven is my home, earth is my footstool, his. Where would you build a house for me? Where's my resting place? It's in our soul, our inner man. Our souls, our flesh temples house his spirit within us. So we should prepare ourselves to be that place where we can commune with God and where we can be led by the Spirit. Okay, I hope that helps. Anyway, hopefully everything works out. We seem to have gotten the camera to work, and I think one of the mics is working. I'm not sure which one, but we'll see you on Shabbat. 2 more days, okay? 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. California time. Hope to see you then. Bye.